Hello and welcome, dear Battle Brothers. This July edition of White Dwarf brings to us an index for the Blood Ravens, and it's not really that much. It gives rules for Gabriel Angelos and how to use him. It tells you a few things about the relics, which are meh in my opinion, but whatever. But more interesting is the fact that the story. This story, which happens to have like no name from my understanding, gives you a glimpse into how the Blood Ravens got their primaris forces. I guess the story's name is Raven's Blood. It makes sense. So the Seventh Company of the Blood Ravens, they're stranded after the Great Rift, after the Astronomicon fails, and they're left wandering in space. Until they get the Vox channel from Vox message from a shield captain of the Adeptus Custodes. And the captain of the Seventh Company and his librarian, well, mostly the captain, is kind of like, I'm not sure if we should really trust him. Because, Custodes don't really leave the Imperial Palace unless it's something very urgent and very important. But they did live. And the Blood Ravens must accept to welcome the Custodes on their vessel. And the Custodes come, they board the ship in their golden armor and their red plumage on their head, and the box that they want to. That's more of a gift. And it's a gift from none other than Robute Gilliman, who happens to be the Primarch of the Ultramarines and the Lord Regent of the Imperium at the moment. And in that box is the gift of creating primaris Space Marines. Besides some mages from the Adeptus Mechanicus, some servitors, and other stuff to help them make them. And the thing is, the captain and doesn't really want to believe that. He is very skeptical of the Primaris. And even when they see him, when the Adeptus Custodi use a hololith, to show them Primaris in training and how they move respecting the fucking Codex, well, he's skeptical of them. Noted not as Gabriel said, because that's a whole other different issue in of itself with the flesh terrors, I mean. But he's skeptical of that. Funny note is, though, that at some point, now I'm looking for the page, I think it was this one, where the captain, the shield captain, mentions that the story mentions that he seems kind of disgust when he talks about the ability to create primaris Space Marine like the Emperor used to. So I'm thinking that not all the Custodes might be on it. I mean, let's be honest. It's kind of a weird plan. The captain of the Seventh Company thinks maybe it's false sorcery, maybe it's something to do with chaos or the immaterialium, or whatever. But the librarians know it's normal. And they even have a montage where they see them training, and it's also Codex Perfect. And there comes a captain to them, and it's a Nova Marine. And Nova Marines are as loyal as Ultramarines. Who would have thought? But this story shows us how they received the Blood Raven, how they received the Primaris. And let's think about it. They're Blood Ravens. They don't know much about their own gene or about their primogenitor. The only person that knew was Davian Toll, but yeah, no, Davian Toll and Gabriel Angelos, I think, are the only ones that know. or were at some point. The idea is that only those who knew the true secrets of the chapter, and they wanted to keep it buried. But our little amazing seventh company captain decides to use his apothecary, his chaplain, and his librarian to interrogate the new arrivals on the ship, which consists of the Adeptus Mechanicus and their servitors and other tech and priestly things. To interrogate them, but not in a way that they will create suspicion, to know and learn things that might help them. The last part is one of my favorites, though, because it kind of encompasses the fact that Andros is not honest, the chapter master of his own chapter, is not honest with his brothers. And we know that because he knows what happened, who the dark secret of the Blood Ravens. Well, he knows, we don't. But here's the thing. There's this line that says, Andros is not to know, not until we have something to report. That's the response, that's one of the requests that the captain has for his people, for his more specialized brothers. The thing is, Angelos should know. And they even took the secret with him. Angelos is the only one left knowing. I'm not sure how this will spark, I don't know, maybe a new game or a book where there's like this sort of civil war in the Blood Ravens, like we saw in the Soul Drinkers. I got the Soul Drinkers, that one was awesome. But that aside, they want to find out the primogenitor and how this thing works. Though they're skeptical of the spate of the primaris, they have to accept it. Because at some point, the Adeptus Custodes just threatens them that they will, well, make sure they die. And as we all know, 5 Adeptus Custodes are more than enough to face a company of Space Marines that are battered and weak and tired and are not on their best shape possible. So I like the idea I like what Games Workshop is doing. We know that there are chapters that accept the primary Space Marine like this. Ultramarines, for example. But then there are chapters that do it more skeptically, that do it in a way that they don't trust the primaries fully. The Flesh Terrors. Should I remember people that Gabriel said things that the Emperor made them specifically with the Red Thirst and to have the Black Rage defect. That's how the Emperor made them. Also, this company master is, well, he wants to find out what's behind it and learn more about their gene seed. And that's something the librarian encouraged him. Listen to them, take it, so we can find more about our gene seed. And he does it, but though admittedly he does it through being threatened. So I'm not sure how good is that, but whatever, it still works. And that's where the story ends. We get into the index where we have little bits and bobs about their story. And that's really about it. I hate how they changed the mode of their chapters to none shall find us wanting when we, knowledge is power. Guard it well. Sounded way much cooler. But this is about the Raven's blood. It is an interesting story which happens to really fascinate me. I wish there could be more stories like this where people in chapters and other Imperium subjects they don't really like the idea of the primaries but accept it because Gilliman is the fucking Lord Regent. I wonder how the Grey Knights will answer this. Or the Battle Sisters. Though I think the Battle Sisters will pretty much accept it right on the way. Or maybe not. In any case, thank you for watching.